Says orientation is locked, rotate device back.
What?
Orientation is locked, rotate device back.
Orientation is locked.
Rotate device back.
The device back.
So it's not gonna let you have it sideways.
They're not gonna let you have it sideways. What is it saying now?
Good evening, wrestling fans, and welcome to this week's edition of SICW All-Star Wrestling. And yes, it's a little different setup this week, and I appreciate everybody joining in this Sunday evening, but it's been a rough week weather-wise. And for those of you who follow SICW each week, I want to first apologize. We had to cancel our show this past Friday. For all of you to know that. One thing I have found out over the years is when Mother Nature throws you a curve, you better just go with it, and that's what we did. So we had a great card scheduled, but unfortunately, we wanted to keep our fans' safety above most of all, and so I made the decision to cancel it, and I hope everybody understands. So, but that's what happened Friday night. Like I said, Mother Nature, it was not nice to us. It was a busy week for all of us, and so tonight we're trying to recuperate. Our day jobs kept us busy all week long, and with Mother Nature, and hopefully the sun's going to come out this coming week and melt some of this white stuff out there and some of that ice, and we'll get back to normal here in the very, very near future. And we can get ready for February the 1st, a Saturday night, February the 1st, when we return to the Belle Claire Fairgrounds. And like I said, hopefully Mother Nature will be better to us, and we'll get that first card of 2025 in the record book. And speaking of the record book, I want to tell you that this match that we just canceled, we had a great main event lined up. It was going to be a tag match, and I think everybody was going to be very interested in that. We had some of the other wrestlers who were coming from out of town, from southern Missouri, from Tennessee, from Chicago, who had to cancel. They couldn't get in. But so that tag match was going to be the Belleville's own Bobby D and the Silverback Big Joe Helms, and they were going to take on Big Nasty Glenn Williams and the SICW Classic champion Kowalski. And I know we got a lot of feedback. Everybody was waiting for that. But what I made the decision on, since we had to cancel, and so on February the 1st, when we return to kick off 2025, we're going to have a double main event. And to kind of celebrate, February will be my 52nd year in the wrestling business. That's right, 52 years. I've been following and doing wrestling and having a great time. Met a lot of great fans, some of the all-time great wrestlers. And so gonna celebrate in February, 52 years. So what I decided to just yesterday, we're gonna have a double main event. And what we're gonna do is we're going to split that tag match up that was supposed to take place this last Friday. And you'll see Belleville's own Bobby D, and he'll go against Big Nasty Glenn Williams, and that will be in a no disqualification match. That's right, no disqualification match. So we know what Big Nasty has been capable of doing, especially when he has his minion, Sean Vincent, outside. The Canadian Zero, as a lot of you like to call him. So that I just can't wait to see that one. A no disqualification match. Bobby D always has a great following. So you fans from his hometown of Belleville, Illinois, make plans to come out on February the 1st and watch Bobby D get his evens with Big Nasty Glenn Williams. And then the SICW Classic title, Kowalski will defend that against somebody big also, and I'm talking about the Silverback Big Joe Helms, and the title will be on the line. And we know in the past, those two have had no love for one another. And of course, you know, when you have the likes of the champion there, you have Lucky P. Larson, the legal eagle, as they call him. He'll probably be at ringside, and then that's double trouble for the Silverback. But there's no love between Lucky P. Larson and the big Silverback. So what a double main event. What a way to celebrate 52 years in this great, great business. And I hope you fans will come out and help us celebrate that, along with a great night of live professional wrestling, talking about old school wrestling. Just like we've talked about for many years. It's like wrestling at the Chase, just like you may remember, your parents remembered, your grandparents, you may have heard them tell stories about John Paul Henning, Whipper Billy Watson, Lou Thez, Pat O'Connor, Harley Race, Bruiser Brody, and the list goes on and on. And that's kind of what we've always been doing right here at SICW, Southern Illinois Championship Wrestling. So mark that on your calendar. That's Saturday night, February the 1st at the Belle Claire Fairgrounds in Belleville, Illinois. Doors will open at 6 p.m. Bell time is at 7 p.m. And like I said, it's going to be great. Have a little celebration, not patting myself on the back, but 52 years. They tell me there's not too many promoters that's lasted that long that's still out there doing it. And so I hope the good Lord's willing, and he lets me see February 1st to get that 52 years in. And we have this great match. Be a lot of other matches that night. I know we have Steve Michaels is making the trip back. He was with us a few years ago. He's coming in from Chicago. We've got a lot of talent that's reached out to us here in 2025 wanting to come in and be a part of it, especially with the big FanFest. And that's what I want to talk about tonight. We got a lot to talk about because all of this is leading up to SICW FanFest 3. That's right. If you haven't heard about it yet, you're going to hear about it tonight because it's going to get close. I mean, it's going to be Friday night, May the 16th, and Saturday night, May the 17th. Now, it's a two-night, but actually a day and a half. That Friday night, May the 16th, our good friend, Mr. Bill Apter, will be with us. He will be hosting a question and answer session with some of the legends who will come in town that Friday afternoon. You'll be able to sit in there and ask some great questions and get some answers. Bill does a great job. He's a guy that's been in this business a long, long time, knows everybody, knows the, knows the business. So that's going to be an interesting Friday evening. Like I said, I already know people like Greg Valentine has agreed to be there, Nikita Koloff, and several more that's going to be coming in town early Friday will be taking part. That Barbara Goodish, the widow of King Kong Bruiser Brody, will be there. Can't wait to see all the guys that are going to be coming into town. It's going to be a great Friday night. And then, of course, on Saturday, the FanFest starts at 10 a.m. in the morning. That's right. So if you stay up late Friday night, got to be there at 10 o'clock on Saturday to see everybody that's going to be there at the Hilton at the St. Louis Airport. That's right. At Hilton at the St. Louis Airport in St. Louis, Missouri. It's going to be great. It's a great hotel. We've got a great ballroom. It all takes place right there. If you're coming in from out of town, they have a shuttle that runs every 15 minutes right across the street. You get off the plane, get your baggage, go outside, get the shuttle, and they take you across the street. It takes about 2 to 3 minutes to get over there. Same way when you get ready to leave, take the shuttle right back to the airport and back to your destination. But you're going to have fun, I can tell you. That's why we're doing FanFest 3, because everybody said FanFest 1 and 2 was great. I think I'm crazy, but we're gonna do it. My son, Jason, said I'm crazy, but he's right there with me, joined at the hips, and be helping out. So hopefully, all of you can go. You can go to sicw.org. All the packages are on there. The link to the hotel. We have blocker rooms that you can get special discount rate. You let them know that you're coming. You have to get the SICW package. Get the discount on your room. But it's really affordable. We've got people coming from Canada. We got them coming from Texas. So far, several states that are wrapping in, saying that they're on their way back to SICW FanFest 3. Like I said, already getting calls from workers from around the country wanting to come in, be a part of FanFest, but they want to be a part of that Bruiser Brody Battle Royal, which will take place late that Saturday evening. It'll start around 7 o'clock, but before then, the doors for the FanFest will open at 10 a.m. The legends that will be there will be inside. They'll have their tables set up. They'll have their goods that they will be autographing, signing. If you bring your whatever you've got, if you want to take a picture with them, you'll be able to do that. If you got maybe a book, or if you've got action figure, whatever, that's what they'll be there. You can meet them. You can stand around. They're always easy to talk to. I want to go down the list of some of those that have already scheduled to be there. Just last week, for those of you tuned in, know the big announcement was, and I mean, yes, it was a big announcement. Kevin Von Erich is going to be at FanFest 3. That's right, Kevin Von Erich. We're excited. Once we posted that, I had a lot of calls and text messages, and everybody just excited. Kevin hasn't been back to St. Louis in a long time, and everybody is looking forward to seeing Kevin, meeting him, and getting an autograph and whatever it may be. I'm excited about it. I talk to Kevin quite frequently. So he was just announced, but also going to be there are good friends, Teddy Long and Mac Davis. Can't do it without them. They help promote this fan fest, and then they come and they're a part of it. And what a great team they are. They've got their podcast, and they talk about it all the time on there, and I really appreciate the help they give us in promoting that. So Teddy Long and Mac Davis are already signed on to be with us. Another great friend, somebody that just loves to talk with the fans. I'm talking about Tito Santana. He's already agreed to be there. So if you haven't met Tito, I mean, you gotta meet him. What a great guy! He'll take all the time in the world to sit and talk with you and ask him questions and do whatever you got to do. The Rock and Roll Express, Ricky Martin and Robert Gibson. Last year we had them booked. Robert Gibson was able to make it. Unfortunately, Ricky got called away for his commitment that he had, which I'm the type of guy that, business is business, and I understood it. So, but this time I've got him booked, and the Rock and Roll Express is scheduled to be here at FanFest 3. So hopefully it goes off without a hitch. And I mentioned Nikita Koloff is going to be here. He was one of the first ones that signed on, and I'm excited about that. So Nikita hasn't been to St. Louis in a long time, and I'm really looking to have Nikita in here with us. As I mentioned, Bill Apter will be there Friday, and he'll be there all day Saturday with us. And Bill Apter does a great job. Like I said, he knows all of these guys. He knows things about them that probably we can't talk about, but that's what I want. I want the fans to come in and be able to ask their questions and get answers. And I think it'll really be Bill does a great job. Last year he did his one-man show, and it was great. Um, Patricia Sutherland, one of the Glow Girls, she signed on real quick. She joined us last year, and great time, great lady, great personality. Just always a great time. Whenever we can have Patricia in, or when I see her in Vegas, it's always she's a hit anywhere she goes. So I was really excited that she's agreed to come back in. Another good friend, Rick McCord. Rick was one of the guys made a lot of matches in the Kansas City area, in Tennessee back in the day. Rick has joined us both years, and he's coming back for 2025. Really glad to see him. Dan DeBee Severin is returning. What a great guy he is. You want to talk wrestling, you want to talk some MMA, Dan Severin is the man you want to talk to. So he will be here with us on FanFest. Gangrel is making an appearance for the first time. What a guy he is. Hopefully you don't get too close and he sinks them fangs into you, but I've got a lot of good feedback about people excited about wanting to see Gangrel. So we're really excited about that. Justin Race, the son of the all-time great Harley Race, returning once again with us, and him and his mother will be here. They have a great collection of items that Harley had, and they'll have them on display. So I'm really excited that Justin and his mother are coming back for 2025 to join us. Sabu making the first trip. He will join us for 2025. And I'm sure that a lot of you fans remember the days of Sabu back in the ECW days. I'm sure you're going to have a lot of questions to ask him. And this guy, if you decide, or if you get too busy, a couple of weeks out, and you don't get time to get a haircut, don't worry about it. Brutus the Barber Beefcake is coming back to FanFest. He'll have the clippers with him, and maybe he'll give you one of those quick super duper haircuts that Brutus the Barber Beefcake is known for. Downtown Bruno is going to be there, thanks to our good friends. Greg Anthony is bringing him in again. They're great friends, and Downtown Bruno was with us the last time, and the fans just really enjoyed sitting and talking with him and hearing his history of being in the business. So we're really excited about Downtown Bruno coming. Andrew Anderson is making the trip in. Excited to see him. He hasn't been here since the late, great Kevin Sullivan and him made an appearance several different times for us. And what a great time we had with Kevin. I miss him. He was a great guy, one of the best in the business. And Andrew really took his passing hard. And but Andrew is going to be joining us. We're really glad to do that. One gentleman I just arranged for yesterday, we talked about ECW with Sabu, Shane Douglas. I haven't even officially put his poster out yet, but Shane Douglas has agreed to appear for FanFest 3. Another very knowledgeable individual about the business, so I'm excited to have him here for the first time, and I'm sure a lot of you fans remember Shane Douglas, and you'll have a lot of questions to ask him, and I'm really excited about that. Another good friend is coming in, and he's coming in because he's getting inducted into the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame also, and that's Greg the Hammer Valentine. That's right. You want to talk about the Hammer, he's going to be there. He'll be there coming in that Friday, so he'll be at the Q&A, and then he'll be there Saturday. Like I said, he's being inducted into the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame. Really excited about that. Greg has always been there when I called him, and he's really excited about coming in, taking part of this FanFest 3. Another gentleman reached out to me. His father was a dear, dear friend of mine. I met him through the late Bruiser Brody. I'm talking about Killer Tim Brooks. I think about Tim all the time. great individual. Anytime he was another one when I called him, when I had him come in and work with Bruce or Brody or whoever it may be, just one great individual. I miss him dearly also, but his son Clayton will be here. Again, he has a collection of items that his father, who originally did a lot of work with the Sheik, the original Sheik, in Detroit. And so they'll be here with that collection. And I'm sure for those of you, a lot of you that remember Killer Tim Brooks, will have some questions to ask his son, who was also a worker. In fact, he worked the show the one time we had the killer in. And so Clayton will have some stories to talk about his father. That's just the tip of the iceberg, and I'm sure I've left out a few. Like I said, it's been crazy with the work schedule, with trying to get 2025 lined up. We've got a few shows that are already starting to book into 2025. One of them, right off the top of my head, March the 29th. Great show. We're going back to the Shriners, the Ionide Shriners Temple in East St. Louis. That's right. We've been there, I think this will be our third year. A great temple they have there. Always a great time. The Shriners do great work. And so they've asked us to come back. They moved their show up this year to March. So mark that date down on your calendar. March the 29th, a Saturday night. We'll be right there at the Ionide Shriners Temple in East St. Louis on St. Louis Avenue. We really enjoy going there and looking forward to March the 29th. I've had other organizations reach out to me, the Fairmont City Fire Department, Police Department. Hopefully we're going to be going back to Breeze, Illinois. I've been talking to Don Hyman. In fact, that looks like that's going to be a date in October. So a lot of the organizations that we work with on an annual basis are starting to call and say, hey, we want to get our fundraiser planned. And so that's what I'll be working on there. We spoke about Greg Valentine going into the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame. That's only one person. We've got, I think we're up to about 5 or 6 people that Nick Rednar and I, that was the St. Louis Hall of Fame. It will be on display also at the FanFest 3, just like it has been the last 2 years. It's a true Hall of Fame. It's not the limousine drivers. It's not somebody's friend that they put in there. The people that get inducted into the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame, that Larry Matasek and myself and Nick Rednar, Tony Costa became a part of that just prior to him passing away. It's a legitimate, if you're in that Hall of Fame, you meant something in the St. Louis Wrestling at the Chase program. Everybody who's in there was part of that program that started in 1959 in one shape or form or fashion, starting with Sam Muchnick and all the way through the list of them. I think there's 50 names that has been inducted in there. Last year, those of you who were there know that we inducted Cowboy Bob Orton Jr. His father had been inducted in there a few years prior to that. And we were very, very fortunate, and I was honored that his son Randy Orton came in and did the induction for his father, and his entire family, Bob's entire family was there. And what a great time that was to have Randy come and be a part of that and induct his father into that Hall of Fame along with his brother and sister and his wife and the grandchildren, and just a great time. So we've got other ones. Another gentleman did a lot of work at Wrestling at the Chase, did a lot of work for me. Butch Reed is being inducted into the Hall of Fame, and some of his family members contacted us. They'll be coming in accepting the honors for Butch. We lost Butch. Another young person left us way too early. I just I loved Butch, and he always did a great job for me. And I wish he was here to accept the honor. Another legend being inducted into the Hall of Fame, Ivan Koloff is going to be there. I've got records when I even wrestled here, and I think if you're just somebody new following us, I've got all of the records from wrestling at the Chase, and I can tell you how many matches each of them had, who won, who lost, what the attendance records was. I was very fortunate that Sam Muchnick kept great records, and when he passed away, Larry Matisek acquired them, and then of course when Larry left us, I was fortunate to get those items, so I'm able to go in there and look and see when we're going through and looking at who is a candidate for this Hall of Fame. I can go back and refresh my memory on who was the big draw, who was selling out the Kiel Auditorium or the Checker Dome when Sam had them in these key matches. So we just don't go randomly out there and say, oh, we want to put this guy in or that guy. Nick and I really take it seriously because the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame is known about around the country, and people talk about and respect it. So we're really proud of that. But so Ivan is going to go in, and then Nikita. We told you Nikita is going to be there, and because of the relationship they did and worked together all those years, Nikita will be accepting the award on behalf of the late great Ivan Koloff. Another one really close to me, done a lot of work. Again, thanks to Virgil Brody, is Jerry Blackwell. Former Missouri state champion, man, 450 pounds, do a standing drop kick like nobody else could. Had some of the great matches. He was on the only wrestling card ever produced at the Fox Theater that Sam and Larry and I did. Wherever Jerry worked, whether it was here, whether it was in Kansas City, whether it was for the AWA, wherever, he was a force to be reckoned with. So he'll be inducted into the Wrestling Hall of Fame. His stepson actually reached out to myself and Nick a week ago. They'd been hearing us and seeing us posted online, and his stepson's having some health issues and don't think that they can make it in, but we are going to induct him in and send the plaque to his stepson, and they were really honored. He was that we were actually considered his father to go into the Hall of Fame, and that made my day to know that we were able to talk to one of the family members. Another gentleman done a lot of work. I loved him. I'm talking about Ox Baker. Ox, again, a guy that came in anytime I needed him. We'd call him, and he'd drop what he was doing, and he'd be there if he could. And we're lucky his family is coming in to accept that honors. His daughter will be with us, and I'm really excited about that. But Ox was he was Foxy Oxy, as we call him, and he deserves it, and so he'll be taking his place in the St. Louis Hall of Fame amongst all the other greats. We give out we started a couple years ago. We started giving out the Sam Muchnick Award, and the reason we did that is because there's people out there that did a lot for the business, who been great fans, great supporters of not just here. The first year it was given to Barbara Goodish, the widow of King Kong Brody, and you may say, okay, well, why? Well, one, she's a tremendous, lovely individual that has helped me more than anybody knows. She's gave me the blessing to help carry her late husband's legacy on. When we started years ago doing the Bruiser Brody Memorial, she hasn't missed a one of them. Every year she's been here, and so she allowed me to use Frank for several years when he worked for me, and that's one thing I think don't get talked about enough is these guys and gals that go out there, their significant others give a lot up when these wrestlers are on the road traveling and away from home for weeks on weeks. And but so I think it was fitting that she received that first Sam Muchnick Award. The next year, our dear friend Darla Staggs. You may say why? Well, there's nobody that knows professional wrestling or supports professional wrestling like Darla Staggs. Now, I've told this story before, but maybe some of you haven't heard it. Back in 1959, she was at the match. Yeah, in 1959. Now, she was a little baby and being held in her dad's arms, but she was at the wrestling match when Pat O'Connor was in a match, and when it ended up the way it did, he ran around the ring, the barrier, with holding her in his arms. So when I say that she was, since almost the time she was born, she has been a wrestling fan. She's a wrestling fanatic, and she knows all the guys. She is on the board of directors of the Cauliflower Alley Club, an organization that for the ones who follow me, that organization is close to my heart. I've seen them help so many of our wrestlers when they've been on hard times, and Darla is actually on that board of directors. B. Brian Blair, who is also, I understand, going to try to join us. I haven't confirmed that 100% yet, but he's the president CEO. Rich Engling, vice president. Those guys and the other members of that board go out, and when we have some of our workers down on luck, financially, they help them. But back to Darla, yeah, she got the Sam Muchnick Award the second year. This year, a good friend of mine, a great worker, just recently came out of retirement to help me. I'm talking about my good friend Ron Powers, is going to receive the Sam Muchnick Award. You may say, why? Well, I just told you. He traveled with Bruiser Brody. He traveled with Dick Murdoch. He traveled with Greg Valentine. He wrestled. He'd been all over. He'd been to Japan. He was up in Chicago with Windy City Wrestling. He had a great career doing the wrestling, but he also was a family man. He also took care of his family, but he had wrestling as his passion, just like I have. And Ron has always been there whenever I needed him, whenever Larry needed him. He did a lot of work. He worked over at South Broadway Athletic Club. He worked at the Sunday Morning Athletic Club for us. So he's the recipient of the Sam Muchnick Award for 2025. And I can't thank him enough for what he just did back in November 23rd, when he saved the company from devastation, incorporated him and Danny Boy, another great individual, and the Night Train Gary Jackson, as the All-American team took on the team of Attila Khan, Haku, and the Barbarian. For those of you who weren't there, you missed it. Those of you who were there know it wasn't a battle, it was an all-out war. So Ron will receive that very prestigious award, the Sam Muchnick Award. And so I'm really happy for Ron for that. And speaking of FanFest 3, what we've been doing here tonight, not only is it about the legends that come in, it's not about the Bruiser Brody Memorial, the Battle Royal that will take place that night. And you see us advertise. It's it was always the Bruiser Brody Memorial, and of course, when we lost Larry Matisek with Barbara's okay, we added his name. And then when my good friend Little Dynamite Tony Costa passed away, we included his name. So it's the Bruiser Brody, Larry Matisek, and Tony Costa Memorial. We're keeping their legacy alive because all three of them gentlemen were so active in the business and dear, dear friends of mine. But this year it would be the 66th year that Wrestling at the Chase had it stayed on the air would have been in existence. Now it isn't, but just because it still isn't doesn't mean that we don't keep the memories and the legacy alive. And so each year we celebrate that during the Bruiser Brody, Larry Matisek, and Tony Costa Memorial, and now along with the FanFest 1, FanFest 2, and now FanFest 3, and hopefully, I don't know about FanFest 4 and so on, but let's take one year at a time here. But so 66 years of the great program of Wrestling at the Chase. You've seen us. I also have the collection of the tapes that was given to me by Larry Matisek, just like the tapes that I've got still on the TV reels of the Dick to Bruiser. It's organization. I'm slowly getting them downloaded. We've got a couple of them done, and we've played some of the matches, and there's a lot more of that to come. But it takes time to get all that done and get it put together. But stay tuned for that to come. So 66 years, we'll be celebrating Wrestling at the Chase. There will be people there telling stories about how they rushed home from church on Sunday morning to watch it. Even though they stayed up late Saturday night and watched it, they wanted to come home and see it again. And so I always love to hear those stories that people talk about, and that's why we continue to do what we do here at SICW. I'm very fortunate. I've said this many times to those of you who follow me. I have a locker room that is next to none. I mean, I got guys that were trained by Harley Race. I've got guys who come from all over. I've got Cowboy Bob Orton that has trained some of our individuals at the Ace Wrestling Academy. So when I talk about locker rooms, and I'm not taking anything away from any other organization's locker room, because as a promoter, we all say the same thing. But it's one thing to say it, but it's another thing to back that up. And if 52 years, and some of those guys have been with me a long time. I won't tell you exactly how long, but a long time. The Night Train Gary Jackson, for one, that received the Sam Muchnick Award last year. You may say, why? He deserved it. He started at 16 years old and worked his way up, and is still out there. I just told you, November 23rd, he led the All-American team, waving the Old Glory to the ring. He's done it. So that's why he received that. He was honored at the Cauliflower Alley Club, the first award presented to him as an independent wrestler of the country, basically, for that year last year. So he deserved receiving the Sam Muchnick Award. So my point being is that at SICW, we recognize that we do have the best locker room. They go out there, the fans love it. They love the fans. And I think it's a family. I tell everybody it's our extended family. And for all of you fans who come and support those shows and buy your tickets, we appreciate that. It's great, warms your heart to know that I get people texting me and say, oh, I'm having withdrawals, for like Friday. I had posted up late Thursday that, the match was on. It was a go for Friday. Well, then our good friends at the National Weather Service, kept on giving us updates. Because of our day job, we stay in touch with them. But it got to the point where I had to make a decision on Friday that, the safety of my fans is a lot more than that wrestling show. We're going to have other wrestling shows. So everybody got to stay home Friday night, and now you just got to wait until February the 1st. And that's when we will kick off the 2025, and we're going to celebrate 52 years of Herb Simmons being in the business. So what, right? But we're going to have fun. I can't wait to see those two big matches. Belleville's own Bobby D. If you're a Bobby D fan, you want to come and see this one, because it's going to be a no disqualification. I'm going to pull this a little closer to kind of see if there's any questions. I've been jabbering on here for about 40 minutes, and I see Brian Killsworth, great times for wrestling. Thanks. I'm just running through these comments here. Thomas, you look very dapper, Herb. Well, thank you. Thank you. Killen's on here. Hello. Thank you. Terry, thank you for joining in tonight. And like I said, it's a little different tonight. Didn't have any action to show you, but I had a lot to talk about. And over the next several weeks, as we lead into this FanFest 3, I think it's important to keep you fans updated, because there's going to be other names that's going to be added to that already growing list. Might be some more surprises. One I didn't mention that just got announced this late week, Jerry Briscoe is going to be joining us. Back in the day, one of the biggest feuds that ever took place in St. Louis was the Briscoes against the Funks. So anytime we can have Jerry Briscoe join us, his late brother Jack, one of the greatest NWA champions of all time. But Jerry, it's always a pleasure to have Jerry. He works his tail off up at the Tragus Thez Hall of Fame in Waterloo, Iowa. I hope to be going up there this year, and I like to try to help him out all I can. It's always a great time. People like Troy Peterson and Chad, his people up there, putting another great show together for this year. I'm really glad. Hey Herb, how big was Bruiser Brody's hog? I'm not sure about that. And does he think he's the man, the myth, the legend, because he never heard of SICW? Not sure. Not sure if you're living underneath a rock. Good evening, everyone. Happy Sunday to all you. And happy head. Is he not reading chats? Yeah, well, I'm reading them now, but I had a lot to get out here. So if you got something else you want to say, I'll try to answer it. Our good friend Roger said hello. Hello to you. What does SICW stand for? Southern Illinois Championship Wrestling. And then I guess that either somebody just joined us or it's a troll, not sure, don't care. Michael Bullion, hello Mike, how are you? Hope you're doing fine, you and your family, and Peggy. It's always great hearing from you. Let's see if anything else is on here. Good evening, everyone. Happy Sunday to you all. Hus 3130, thank you. I know you join us every Sunday evening. This guy, and does he think he is the man, the myth, the legend, because we never heard of SICW? Yeah, well, that's a troll. That's somebody that I would bet. I don't want to bet too much because I don't need their thoughts. I love people who are from other organizations that want to try to come on and try to discredit what our locker room or what I've done. I mean, as I said earlier, the record speaks for themselves. For somebody to say they haven't heard of SICW, then they're living underneath a rock, because all you got to do is Google it. Google is our best friend. It's kind of like anything you want to know, just Google it now. Do you believe everything you read? No, uh, but I can tell you, if I need to ask or if I need to find out about somebody, that's what I do. Just Google it. um, Bill Henson's on here. Bill, I hope you're feeling a little bit better. It's always good to see you on here. So, been on here about 45 minutes, so I'm going to get cut down. We're on a time limit for the Intrigue television show that gets put on each week. We have to fit into their format. So my producer and editor, Brian, told me just be sure to keep it where that fits in. It keeps him from having to do a lot of post-editing work. And I apologize once again for the cancellation of Friday night, but now I know you'll understand for those of you who are true SICW fans. And then for talking so much tonight, but yes, you can see FanFest Street. Nobody here in the Midwest is putting the FanFest on like we do. That's why we started it 2 years ago, because there'd never been one in St. Louis. And yes, we reached out to other companies and asked them if they wanted to be a part of it. You know, nobody here locally jumped on board. We had people like the hardest working man in the business, Space Cowboy, Jason Jones. Yes, he's on again. He'll be here in May at the Fan Fest. You know, Greg Anthony jumped on board. He's bringing in downtown Bruno. So I remember last year, Sean Vinson, whether you like him or not, he made phone calls to the local organizations and said, hey, wouldn't it be nice you come together, you bring your champion in, you bring a couple of the wrestlers, you know, the fans come in and you got your banner hanging up, you tell them, you might gather some people. You know, I've always said, support wrestling, don't care where it is. You pick and choose who you like, who you want to go see, who you spend your money with. But don't get on here and try to bash my people and, oh, I don't know this, I don't know that. Because if you bash my locker room, then that's personal. So, then that's enough of that. Mark the date, February 1st at the Belle Claire Fairgrounds. Doors will open at 6, bell times at 7 o'clock. Just make sure you get there. We'll have fun. We're going to talk about everything that you want to talk about. We'll have some more updates on other shows like the Shriners, hopefully the Missouri Athletic Club. Hopefully we're going to go back to the Worldwide Technology Raceway. You know, we were out there 3 times this last year. Hopefully we'll be with NASCAR again. So 2025 is shaping up for some big things again. And I hope you'll all get on the train and ride with us. Brian says, I can't wait. I missed last year, but plan on making it this year. Well, Brian, I know you had a busy year, and I understand that. So I hope you can make it this year, because we're going to have fun at the FanFest 3 May 16th and 17th. Go to www.sicw.org. SICW, Southern Illinois Championship Wrestling. There's only one of us, and it's been around for a long time. So go there. We have all the packages on there. It's very affordable. Come out, have a great time. So I'm going to get off of here. I've been on here right about 48 minutes. If anybody's got any questions, hit me up. Send me a message. And I always get back with my fans. Until next Sunday night, we'll have some wrestling action, and we'll have some great classic matches coming your way as we head towards February 1st. Everybody have a good night and have a great week.